The shadow behind her smile. Hi, welcome back to my channel with another suspicious story. So if you like our stories, please like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. So stay with us. They say twins share everything: a heartbeat, a childhood, secrets, and pain. But the night my bruised twin sister came to my door, I learned we also shared fear. Ariana had always been the gentle one. Soft voice, soft heart, soft smile. So when she collapsed into my arms, shaking and bleeding, I felt something inside me snap. Her once bright eyes were swollen. Her lip was split. Finger-shaped bruises wrapped around her wrists like shackles. I whispered, "Ari? Who did this?" Her voice cracked. "Ethan." Her husband. The man I always hated. And that night, I decided he'd pay. We sat on my couch for hours. The rain outside tapped the windows like impatient fingers. Ariana told me everything. The first slap 6 months after marriage. The first apology a week later. The first choke 2 months later. The slow isolation. The tracking apps he installed on her phone. The cameras he hid in the house. The way he controlled her clothes, her friends, her time. The way she had to ask for permission to breathe. And tonight, she touched her bruised neck. He said next time he won't miss. I held her hands. "You're not going back." "He'll find me," she whispered. "He always does." "No," I said, "because I'm going instead." Her eyes widened. "You mean..." "Yes. We're switching. One last time." We cut her hair. We matched our clothes. We practiced each other's walk, our tones, our habits. A childhood trick became a survival strategy. Ariana hid in my apartment, and I drove to her mansion. His mansion. The place she had been trapped in. The house looked beautiful on the outside. White marble, roses, warm lights. But inside, it felt like a grave. Ethan sat at the dining table. He didn't even look up when I walked in. "You finally came home," he said. "You embarrassed me tonight." His voice was soft. Too soft. "What happened to your face?" I asked, acting timid. "You made me angry," he said. He took a sip of wine, and "You'll never do that again." For the first few days, I acted exactly like Ariana would. Quiet, careful, obedient. But I studied him. His schedule, his passwords, his routines, his weak spots. I noticed he had 6 different phones. He locked his office with a biometric lock. He never let Ariana leave alone. He drugged her tea some nights. He had a temper he hid from the world. And worst, he watched everything. Every room had cameras. Every device was monitored. And every night, he whispered things like, "I own you. You'll never leave. You're nothing without me." My blood boiled. But I waited. Because this wasn't just revenge, This was war. The plan started small. 1. I changed his alarms, making him miss an important meeting. He nearly broke his phone, screaming. 2. I accidentally sent his boss a rude text. He blamed stress. 3. I moved his documents, making him think he lost files. He tore his office apart. 4. I switched passwords on his laptop so he couldn't log in. He punched the desk until his knuckles bled. Every time he snapped at me, I sweetly said, "Are you feeling okay, Ethan? You seem confused." His jaw clenched so tight, I heard it pop. The gaslighter was being gaslit.
On the 8th day, he stared at me for too long during breakfast. "You're acting strange," he murmured. I forced a small smile. "Am I?" He leaned closer. "You look like Ariana, but sometimes it feels like you aren't." My pulse hammered. "You're imagining things," I whispered. He tilted his head. "Maybe," but his eyes said otherwise. And at night, I felt his gaze burning through my door. He sensed something. He just didn't know what, yet. One evening, I walked along the garden fence to get fresh air. A tall man in a black hood appeared on the other side. He stared directly at me. "You're not supposed to be here," he said. "What?" "You're not the wife." My heart plummeted. Before I could respond, Ethan stepped outside. The man vanished like smoke. "Who was that?" I asked. "No one," Ethan snapped. "Stay inside." That night, I heard Ethan on the phone. He was here again. "Yes." "No, she didn't recognize him. I'll take care of it." My stomach twisted. Who was that man? And why did he say I wasn't the wife? I followed a strange humming sound one night. It led me to a bookshelf. Behind it, a keypad lock. I guessed the code. Ethan's birthday. The shelf slid open, revealing stairs. The basement smelled like metal and bleach. Inside were a metal bed with restraints, chains on the floor, tools I couldn't name, a drain in the middle of the room, and hundreds of photos of Ariana on the walls, labeled, dated, organized like research, like a predator studying prey. I swallowed a scream. This wasn't just abuse. This was obsession, and it was escalating. In Ethan's locked office, hidden under the floor, I found a $3 million life insurance policy, signed by Ariana with Ethan as the sole beneficiary, filed less than a month ago. Beside it sat a file labeled Plan, Final Phase. My hands shook. He wasn't just hurting her, he was planning to kill her. And he was close, too close. The next morning, Ethan approached me slowly, calm, too calm. He placed a hand on my cheek. "You've been acting differently," he whispered. "You don't flinch anymore. You don't cry. You don't beg." He stared into my eyes. "You're not my wife." For a full minute, we said nothing. Then he smiled. "I don't mind. I can use either one of you." A chill sliced through my spine. He wasn't choosing between us. He was planning to kill one and use the other as a replacement. I needed proof and a way to survive long enough to expose him. So I installed hidden cameras, saved copies of his files, collected recordings of his threats, planted evidence, sent everything to a secure cloud. Then I provoked him, over and over, until he finally snapped on camera. He grabbed me, dragged me across the room, slammed me against the wall. "You are mine." And I whispered, "Show the world who you really are." His fist hit my face. Everything went black. I woke up tied to the metal bed in the basement. Ethan stood over me. You ruined everything, he said softly. She was supposed to die, not you. He held a syringe filled with something clear. This will be painless, he said, and tomorrow I'll tell everyone you had an accident. Before he injected me, a crash sounded upstairs, then shouting, "Police." He froze. I smiled. Surprise! He lunged at me, but officers stormed downstairs. He screamed, fought, kicked, but they took him anyway, dragged him out of the house in cuffs. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. Ethan was arrested for attempted murder, abuse, illegal surveillance, fraud, kidnapping, violation of privacy, and more. Ariana testified. I testified. The evidence was undeniable. He was sentenced. But the story didn't end there, because 3 months later, Ariana received a letter in the mail. Inside, a photo of me, sleeping, taken from outside the window of my new house. On the back, he wasn't working alone. One twin must pay. A chill ran through my entire body. The man at the fence, the one Ethan spoke to at night, he wasn't gone. Sometimes, late at night, I hear footsteps outside my apartment. A soft tap on the window, a whisper in the dark, a shadow on the street. The man from the fence is still out there, and he's waiting. Because in our story, the villain wasn't just Ethan. There were two. And the second one hasn't revealed himself yet. And he was watching us. Even after Ethan was sentenced, Ariana and I didn't sleep easy. We tried. We tried moving to a new apartment. We tried therapy. We tried pretending the nightmare was over. But the letter changed everything. A photo of me taken at night while I slept, and on the back, he wasn't working alone. One twin must pay. Ariana dropped the letter. Her hands trembled violently. "Who sent this?" she whispered. I didn't know. But someone was hunting us now. Someone dangerous. Someone patient. And someone who knew exactly who we were. 3 days after the letter arrived, I walked out to take the trash and froze mid-step. Across the street, half hidden behind a large tree, a man stood staring at me. Same hood, same stillness, same height as the one I saw at Ethan's mansion. I whispered, "It's him." He didn't move, didn't speak, didn't blink. Just watched me. Determined to understand the threat, I returned to the digital copies of Ethan's files I had saved. This time, I found something I had overlooked. A separate hidden folder labeled Project Mirror. Inside were surveillance photos of the hooded man, notes in Ethan's handwriting, money transfer records, and a contract. The man's name was on it. Marcus Hale. But what shook me was the description. Role, enforcement, and shadowing. Objective, observe Ariana, maintain fear-based compliance. Ariana gasped. He hired someone to watch me? My jaw tightened. More than that. He hired someone to follow you everywhere, even before I switched. Then, I saw the last note. A handwritten sentence. If I fail, he continues the job. A chill crawled over my skin. This wasn't over. Marcus wasn't just a stalker. He was finishing Ethan's work. That night, Ariana screamed. I ran into her room. She sat up in bed, breathing fast. "I saw him," she cried.
He was standing outside the window, just watching. I looked outside. The street lamp flickered. The shadows were too still, too quiet, too familiar. He was near. We called the police, but when they arrived, they found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry. One officer said, "Maybe you're imagining things because of trauma." I wanted to scream. Trauma doesn't leave footprints on wet grass. The next morning, a second envelope waited at our door. Inside, a photo of Ariana sleeping, taken the same night as mine. On the back, only one twin deserves to live. The other dies first. Ariana dropped the photo, sobbing. "He's inside the building," she whispered. "He knows where we live." And she was right. He knew our location. He knew our faces. He knew our habits. And worst, he knew how to get close without ever being seen. 2 days later, I went to the parking garage to get groceries from my car. Halfway there, I felt it. A presence. A breath behind me. When I turned, Marcus stepped into the light. Hood up, hands in pockets, eyes like dead glass. "You took something from Ethan," he whispered. I backed away slowly. "What do you want?" His smile was wrong, too wide, too calm. "One of you." My stomach dropped. "Why?" "Balance." He took one step forward. I took one back. "You hurt Ethan," he said softly. "He asked me to finish the job if anything happened to him." I felt my legs go weak. "So he sent you to kill us?" "No. To kill one of you, and make the other live with it." He charged at me. I ran. I sprinted up 3 levels, dodging pillars. He followed without rushing, without running, just walking, as if he already knew I couldn't escape. I dove into a storage room and hid behind boxes. I heard his footsteps outside. Slow, deliberate, hungry. "If you scream," he said through the door, "I'll choose her first." My blood froze. He knew our weak points. He knew what mattered. He knew we couldn't run forever. Eventually, the footsteps disappeared, but I stayed behind the boxes for an hour, shaking uncontrollably. Determined to stop Marcus, I searched deeper into Ethan's files. I found a voice recording. Ethan's voice said, "She has a twin. Use that." Marcus replied, "Which one?" Ethan laughed, "Whichever I don't need anymore." Ariana clenched her fists. So he never cared about me. No. He wanted to own one of us and kill the other. The more I learned, the darker it got. There were notes saying, "Twins confuse predators. One will always protect the other. Pain one, control both." Marcus wasn't just a stalker. He was trained. He was methodical. He was obsessed with the idea of twins. And now that Ethan was gone, he wanted to finish Ethan's obsession for himself. We upgraded locks, installed cameras, changed numbers, alerted neighbors. None of it mattered. Because at 2:39 a.m., our living room window shattered. A stone rolled across the floor. Attached to it, a small note. Run. I love chasing. The lights went out. The apartment plunged into darkness. Ariana screamed. I grabbed her hand. We ran into the bedroom, locking the door. Outside, footsteps echoed. Slow. Purposeful. Hungry. Ariana, he whispered. I know you're in there. She cried silently. I held her close, heart pounding. Why are you doing this? I shouted. He laughed softly. Because Ethan said one of you belongs to him and one belongs to me. The doorknob rattled, then twisted. Then he began kicking the door, hard. The door cracked, splintered. He kicked again and again. I grabbed Ariana's hand, dragged her to the balcony, and climbed over the railing. Are you crazy? She shrieked. No, it's the only way. The fire escape was 3 feet below. We jumped, landed hard. Pain shot through my ankle. Marcus kicked the bedroom door open. He ran to the balcony. We climbed down the fire escape like our lives depended on it. Because they did. Marcus leaned over the railing, watching us climb. You can run, but you can't hide. We reached the ground and sprinted into the night. No bags, no phones, no plan. Just fear. A raw, desperate fear. Ariana called a friend from a public phone. We stayed at her place for the night, but Marcus wasn't just smart. He was calculating. He waited. He watched. By morning, a 3rd letter arrived at her friend's doorstep. Inside was a photo of the 3 of us, inside the apartment, taken during the night, while we slept. Ariana fainted. I felt nauseous. Marcus wasn't just stalking us. He was surrounding us. Everywhere we went, every person we spoke to, every place we hid. He was always 1 step ahead.